Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Brother Christensen. It's Brian.
Hi. Hi, Brian. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
Oh, good. Okay. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Give some other folks a few minutes to join here.
Sure. I'll just wait here.
Yeah.
So what normally happens in these meetings? We just like discuss like what we're going over, or?
Yeah. Any questions you want? I try to give some hints if I can. Give you a little bit of chance to get better grade if I can give you any hints that'll give you a leg up because you came to today.
Okay.
And so, because you made the effort. I try to change up my office hour. Sometimes if you have it one time every week at the same time, some students can never make it. So,
Okay.
but makes it harder on other students who rely on 1 hour every week. And so no, you can't please everybody, I guess.
Right. I understand that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sweet.
Yeah. So I'm just going to post my office hour on the Google community right now, and we'll see if anybody comes.
Okay.
But yeah, Brian, please give yourself the points for showing up today. We won't go anywhere near the whole time. We never do, but
Yeah, I figured. Okay, sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, I try to come, but most of the time I have a class at 3. So I can never make it. Just that today I got injured, so I can't really go.
Okay.
Okay. Since I'm here now, can I just ask you my question that I have, or do I have to?
Yeah,
wait?
sure. Why don't you go ahead and we'll try to end early, but yeah, go for it.
Okay. So like, as far as the appeals exam goes,
Yeah.
like, I really do try to appeal like every question that I can, but is it even possible to appeal every question based on the answer you picked? Because I look at some and it just wouldn't make any sense if I try to appeal it because my answer was clearly wrong once I actually look it up. Well, there are other questions that I can argue, but there are others that I'm just like, there's no real way to argue because it's right there. I wouldn't know how to. I guess it kind of goes to that thing, like kind of term like lawyers are liars, because I don't know. I just
Yeah.
possible to like appeal every question, or like it's not possible at all. Like I know we're limited to time, right?
Yeah, I mean you should, take a reasonable approach and just think, okay, I clearly got that one wrong, and if I try to argue, if I clearly got one wrong and I'm trying to argue that it's right and I know it's absolutely wrong, maybe you shouldn't argue for those. But on ones that you think you have a reasonable basis for arguing why it should be right, I think you should try to argue those.
Okay.
Because I'm going to give you points not because I think you're right, but by the strength of your argument. And I mean, the way the law changes over centuries of time is because sometimes a lot of times judges are flat out wrong. They're just wrong.
Okay.
Society changes. For the longest time we thought, black people should be slaves because they
That's
weren't
right.
human. They weren't human, right? And the
Right.
world was flat or whatever. And so a lot of times judges are just flat out wrong. And so you should think, hey, Dan, brother Christensen, I really think maybe I think I'm wrong, but I'm not really wrong, because the fact that somebody took a snowmobile and plowed through somebody else's house, and they're saying that the snowmobiler should be completely liable for the house. Well, why was the house so close to the street? Maybe houses should be 30 feet back from the street instead of 20 feet. You might be right. Maybe they should construct houses farther back from every street. And ultimately, it may be the new Bryan law that every house should be built 30 feet from the street, not 20 feet. And you might be right.
Okay, interesting. Okay, so
And
because I really don't like just dismissing
yeah,
because I don't like that option because it only guarantees you 4 points. So like I actually enjoy appealing, but I find it very difficult for some questions.
yeah, and it takes a lot longer. But I'll tell you, the exams on this class, as you've already noticed, are the hardest part of the class, and it's really where you can get a real low grade in this class. But actually, you could become, an A or B student in this class, even if you're getting D's and F's on your test. And I have no problem giving you an A or B in this class, even if you're getting D's and F's in the class based on you appealing the exams. Because if you argue it right, it's not because, and like you said, a lot of people say, well, lawyers are liars. There are some bad lawyers out there. There really are. They're ones that just say, hey, I don't care what client I get, I'm going to argue because I want to make money. There are other lawyers that say, I want to change the law because it's wrong, and that law is just wrong. Black people are not slaves. They are humans, and that needs to change, even though the whole world thinks that they're not human, or that the world is flat, and it needs to change. And right now, we think, right now we may think that, I don't know, name some injustice right now that's going on, that you see around you, that needs to be changed. If it just because it's an injustice that everybody accepts doesn't mean that we shouldn't change it. And you may be the only one that could change it by the voice of your argument, even though it's unpopular to you. Um, maybe kids should be able to drive at 14, across the board. Maybe they are, strong enough, or I don't know. It just depends on what you think, what you're passionate for. Or maybe kids should drive at 18 because they're killing people. Maybe your brother died in an accident by being hit by a 16-year-old kid, and it's not popular, but amongst your friends. But maybe you think in the UK they drive at 18.
I didn't know that.
So I don't mean to keep this going, on too long, but that's the way the law changes, is when people like you stand up for something right. And it's not because you're a liar, it's or that you're being paid for it. You might be, and maybe you're a liar, but maybe it's just that you're passionate about something.
Right.
And if I see that passion in your argument, and you go, Brother Christian, it's not that you're taking 5 hours on your appeal. Maybe you just take a half an hour, but you say, you know what, I really believe this question should be different. I'm going to give you, I could change your grade from a D to an A, and I have no problem doing that.
Okay, sweet. No, I actually do enjoy, like, once I started actually doing it, like, I'm getting into, like, in this class as far as I'm going. I'm like, it's very interesting to me. It's like, it's really cool to see how I can appeal an argument. Like my last appeal, I was very happy about it. So I was just like, wow, I really got this. But this time it's just like, I have only gotten one right now. And the other ones I'm just like trying to figure out how can I do this.
Yeah.
Just searching the book, and it's so hard, but it's really fun at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. But
yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? And sometimes, you just know you're dead wrong, and other times it's a little more subtle. And on those subtle ones, I think you just take it, run with it, and throw it out. And even if you're wrong, I'll give you some points because you're trying. I'll give you some points.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, I think that's really the only question I had. Yeah, that's it, really.
Okay, just one question for you then. Is your group working okay? You're happy with your group?
Yeah, we're all working together. It's great. We always take turns every week, like leading the discussion. So yeah, it's great.
Okay, good. And the UCC is making some sense, at least this
The
week.
UCC. Yeah. Are you talking about what the book's talking about? The uniform?
Yeah, the Uniform Commercial Code. it's a little bit, a lot of people struggle this week because, we did contracts the last couple of weeks before this week where, you and I, Brian and I, we can engage in buying. I can buy your motorcycle and you sell me your motorcycle, but the parts start falling off of it. And you go to the bank laughing because you sold me a bad motorcycle or whatever. I'm out of luck because I bought your motorcycle and no warranty or whatever. The UCC was an attempt by the government to kind of say, look, let's put some rules in place that just say, two people, you got to have some rules around what you can and can't agree to. And so the UCC, the Uniform Commercial Code, was a way to say, let's not let the sky be the limit on what Brian and Dan can agree to in a contract. Let's at least give some form to it a little bit. So as you read, this will be a hint for you. Look for the way the government kind of said, hey, when you're selling goods, let's make sure that it has at least this kind of structure and form to it. And so just look for that a little bit. Make sure, and I could give you some examples, but I just want you to kind of look for that, so that it was their attempt to make sure that contracts just didn't, so I wasn't selling you, shares in the Golden Gate Bridge when I didn't own them, or that, I wouldn't do a handshake deal for land and stuff outside of the statute of frauds. There's certain things that we would have to have in writing instead of just a handshake deal,
Right.
to make sure you and I signed it and there were contract terms that were rigid and firm and we knew what we were getting into, and that way. So the Uniform Commercial Code was a way to just solidify that and make sure old ladies weren't being taken advantage of. And just kind of look for that, because years ago, this came about 30 years ago. My grandfather was actually one of those judges that was asked to
Oh, wow.
help draft it, and it was at a time 30 years ago when everybody, when people were opening their pockets and saying, "Hey, have I got a deal for you?" and selling, rocks as watches and stuff, and you had to kind of,
Yeah.
that was really the lawyers are liars kind of era, and you had to kind of have a code that the code, it's a code of honor, Uniform Commercial Code. Let's stand by something that's a little stronger between people. So just kind of look for that as you do your reading this week.
Okay, I will for sure. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay, good. All right, well, I'll give you 45 minutes back then, and give yourself the points, and make sure you appeal real well. I'll be looking for your appeal, and I'll give you, some good points on that, because I know I'll see a passionate appeal, and we'll go from there.
All right, sweet. Thank you. Well, thanks for your time, and I'll see you later
Okay.
then.
Okay, have a great weekend, Brian.
Bye.